Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. If I were to tell you that the Ukrainian counteroffensive is not working, let's say that would be an understatement. It's not working at all. And if I were to tell you that the trained Ukrainian troops, Western trained, NATO trained Ukrainian troops, supposedly returning to fight the Russians, are not succeeding a bit, or if I were to tell you that NATO tactics did not work in the Ukrainian counteroffensive, you would ask me, obviously, I hope, where is your evidence, pretty boy? Well, the pretty boy, we're going to give you the evidence backed by three articles, two from America and one from Russia. So one is the New York Times. I don't know if that's American or not anymore. I don't know what it is. Then you got the Business Insider, and the other one is Russia Today. I got three articles showing that the Ukrainians allegedly, or not allegedly, reportedly, because these guys reported it, are running away from the NATO tactics. The trained Ukrainian troops are not the asset they thought it would be. And we'll find out how that happened. So let's start with the first article from, let's go to Business Insider, the mildest one. So here we have Business Insider. It is from today, August 3rd, 2023. Ukrainian troops are abandoning US tactics in their counteroffensive because, brace yourselves, they haven't worked. So this is according to Business Insider. So Ukraine has made only modest gains in its summer counteroffensive against Russia. Troops are abandoning US tactics because they've proved ineffective. Jesus Christ, you guys are going to be checked by FBI soon. They're going to come to your offices. The New York Times reported, so New York Times, today you're going to use my New York Times right here. Russia formed deep defensive lines over the winter, protected by miles of land miles. So, Western trained Ukrainian troops are abandoning US tactics in their counteroffensive to seize back territory. The New York Times. Okay, why don't we go straight there? All right, this is it. Ram pam pam. The New York Times via Yahoo News today, actually August 2, 2023. Ukrainian troops trained by West stumble in battle. So you use whatever title you want, that one or this one right here, if it shows the Ukrainian troops are abandoning US tactics because they don't work. All right, the first several weeks of Ukraine's long-awaited counteroffensive have not been kind to the Ukrainian troops who were trained and armed by the United States and its allies. Equipped, let me do this for a little change. How about this? Equipped, and glasses, you want glasses, no glasses, you don't care? All right. Equipped with advanced American weapons and heralded as the vanguard of a major assault, the troops became bogged down in dense Russian minefields under constant fire from artillery and helicopter gunships. Units got lost in space, like Grouchy at the Waterloo, in the woods or something. Units got lost. One unit delayed a nighttime attack until dawn, losing its advantage. Another fared so badly that commanders yanked it off the battlefield altogether. Now, the trained Ukrainian brigades are trying to turn things around. Those are, I would say, special guys from the West speaking different languages, just called Ukrainians, but we'll find out after the war ends. US officials and independent analysts say. So they are trying to turn things around. Ukrainian military commanders have changed tactics, focusing on wearing down the Russian forces with artillery and long-range missiles instead of plunging into minefields under fire. A troop surge is underway in the country's south, with a second wave of Western trained forces launching mostly small-scale attacks to punch through Russian lines. So, the guys are coming. from Poland. Okay, so they will not do it. It doesn't work. It says here, I'm quoting, the counteroffensive itself hasn't failed. It will drag on for several months into the fall, said Michael Kaufman, not Kaufman, Kaufman with a K, a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, who recently visited the front lines. And I'm quoting, arguably, the problem was in the assumption that with a few months of training, Ukrainian units could be converted into fighting more the way American forces might fight, leading the assault against a well-prepared Russian defense rather than helping Ukrainians fight more the best way they know how. Oh, right, and let's go now to the this article from Russia Today and see what's going on here, right? So, 2nd of August 2023, Ukraine giving up on Western battle tactics, New York Times. So they're using all these New York Times. Applying NATO doctrine, Kiev's forces charged into minefields under heavy fire. So, let's see, I got here, the Ukrainian military is abandoning the battle tactics of its Western trainers and returning to a strategy of long-range standoffs against Russian forces. The New York Times reported. Okay, we got that one. So let's see what's here. Although NATO military doctrine typically assumes that maneuver warfare will be conducted after Western forces have established air superiority. Hello, my friends. Nevertheless, Western officials and media outlets herald Ukraine's new NATO playbook as a hidden advantage that would help give Ukrainian forces the ability and speed they need to overcome Russia's preferred war of attrition and to recapture Russian-occupied territories, according to Foreign Affairs magazine. The fact that this does not happen raised questions, I'm quoting, about the quality of the training the Ukrainians received from the West and about whether tens of billions of dollars worth of weapons have been successful in transforming the Ukrainian military into a NATO standard fighting force, end quote. Well, let's be honest. They mention NATO as if NATO is this formidable force. Proven in what kind of fights? I'm waiting. Oh yeah, in Yugoslavia. Okay, where? In Iraq? In what? In Afghanistan? Where? In Syria? In Libya? Now those were, I gotta say it, not the first tier fighting troops, military. Now you got someone of your side. Let's see how that works. So, when this guy said, well, because they didn't apply NATO, maybe that's the way NATO would fight a real enemy, a real, person that you find, right? An enemy, not Yugoslavia, and no offense here, but you can compare Yugoslavia or any countries I mentioned so far, you can compare them with Russia. Clear? So now they have someone that is of their own side, and what's gonna happen? They're gonna choke and they're gonna start saying, no, it's actually someone else's fault. And because I didn't apply the NATO, well, the NATO maybe doesn't even work against the real war. I'm talking real war, Russia war, not, you overwhelm a country with bombardments and obviously you have a much superior military presence and weapons and so on. Remember, all this coalition is not the United States versus, let's say, Yugoslavia. It's NATO countries, the coalition, the allies, because the Yugoslavia needed an alliance to be, the same with Iraq. One didn't do it like the United States. They have to get all these guys because their tactics work. Well, they work in that kind of things. I mean, I don't have to apply a tactic to beat a toddler, do I? I just go and, But if I find someone, an adult, I have to look around, see how he looks, how he moves, how he breathes. Well, maybe get some information. Maybe I know the guy by his stand. Did he ever practice anything? Boxing, martial arts, anything or nothing? Puffy, no puffy? And I'm planning according to what I see over there. But he's a fit guy over there, and I know his stance is a stance that he shows that he has fighting experience. Then I change my tactics. So my point is that these guys actually, even if they train them, you didn't have enough time. and you didn't wait for any warplanes or anything like that to throw them in the battle. I still think that this war is a controlled war, and I made my point in other videos. What do I mean by controlled war is between the Russians and the Americans, and they're communicating, oh, you can't do this, yes, you can do this, if you do this, I'm going to do this. It's not a total war. A total war would be, as I said, a total mobilization and maybe some other kind of weapons employed, and destruction of certain areas like Kiev. Oh, wait, Kiev. I'm talking about something else. Or Moscow. It's still, I think it's a controlled one. But anyway, this is it, my friends. They need more training, I guess. I don't know if the Western countries will plug their support of PUC from Ukraine, since they couldn't really succeed with their counterattack. But that's not the end yet, so we still got time. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.